What do I do now?
What'd you do?
Okay. And we're out. I introed the podcast with the song.
You're pretty smooth. You're like good at it now.
I know.
Pretty proud of you.
Woo. Hear that? Camera. The people. All right.
Hear what?
I was pointing to the people.
And you said hear that?
Yeah, did they hear that?
And you made the woo sound. Was
Woo.
that like a different thing I don't understand?
No, I don't have that. No, that's just like a...
Okay.
That was a natural reaction.
All right. I'm going to keep up today. I feel like there's a lot.
Do you want to go over it?
No. It won't do well for me.
How are you?
Great.
Cool.
How are you doing? You
Great.
seem like you're in a really good mood.
I'm just trying.
No, this is genuine. Why are you in such a good mood?
Because it's a podcast. Gotta show up for the podcast.
Oh, okay. I thought it's because you had to drop your truck off the Toyota because it doesn't work.
The oil filter coolant something or other, they had to order parts for, and I got that sick RAV4.
What do you think happened to Toyota?
What, with my truck?
No, I think they used to just be so great.
Yeah, I don't know what the issue
And now
is.
they're kind of falling apart.
Oh, you're about to make me sell my truck?
No, they are falling apart. Like I wanted to get we all know Toyota is Lexus, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I signed up to all these forums or Facebook groups. Facebook groups, is that what they're called? Facebook
I think
groups.
so, yeah.
I'm a big Facebook group guy now.
Why?
I don't comment. I'm just like on the Facebook groups.
Okay.
Because what I don't like about Facebook is everyone that I'm friends with is from like high school.
Uh-huh.
And 90% of them are like vastly different than me.
Yeah.
Yeah, vastly different. Like you read what they're posting on Facebook all day, and I'm like, how do I get rid of these people in my life?
So you go to the groups to find your people.
So then I decided how to curate that. I'm in tons of groups.
GX550 group.
GX550 group, and dude, they have so many problems.
Yeah.
And like plastic melting and things leaking, and like it's insane.
I originally thought I wanted one, and then I watched Doug, whatever his name is, videos, and I was like, I don't want one.
And the same with Land Cruisers.
Yeah.
Like, do you think I should answer this? It doesn't look like
Is it important?
No, it's
We can patch them in.
no. I'm getting a lot of weird calls right now. But they're just having so many problems. And even like the Land Cruisers, they're like posting photos of like the roof rack leaking. Everyone's like, it's an aftermarket. I'm like, no, this is the stock roof rack. It's just leaking into everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know. Toyota used to be like the ones, right? And now I feel like all I'm hearing about is problems, and they're still underpowered. And
I guess it's part of my own fault for getting like the first year of the new generation, right?
is it?
I guess
Yeah,
that's what people say.
They take so long to come out with new generations that
That-
they should have it dialed by the time it happens.
I
It
know.
just bums me out because they're such a cool brand, and now they're just like everyone else.
Well, they're fixing my oil, whatever, for free, obviously, because
Yeah, because you have 11 miles on it.
Yeah. And I have like the most extended warranty you can get because I was like, I'm going to keep this truck for my entire life. And now I'm already like, I want something different.
Well,
But that's how.
hopefully that
shit
helped
goes.
resale with that extended warranty.
Yeah. What else is there? Oh, so that's why I'm in a good mood because I got my truck
Yeah,
fixed.
I came to your house.
Yeah. How was that?
It was good.
Wasn't it quite the
It
experience?
was quite the experience.
You want to tell people about it?
Yeah, so Austin bought a house when he moved back here, and everyone's gone to it, and he has these parties all the time, but he never invited me.
Mm-hmm.
It was always like, Drew's over at your house, and like there's all this stuff going on, and everyone's like talking about your garage, and I was always just sort of like, I wonder why
What it's like over there.
I haven't even gotten an invite. Like,
Uh-huh.
what's going on? Like, it's everyone but me. And then the other day I got an invite, and then you cooked me dinner on your Blackstone.
Yeah, which I just bought. It was my maiden voyage meal. I
That
felt
was?
horrible after. I haven't told you this yet.
What did you feel bad about? The buns?
No, the bun. Yeah, but I kind of explained that wasn't my fault.
Yeah.
My fault, but what? The onions did you eat the onions?
Yeah.
They weren't made to be eaten
Why were they on the table in a bowl in front of me?
because I used them to condition the grill. And then afterward I saw like everyone was eating them, and I was like, oh, they must be good, but like I don't want that to be a representation of my Blackstone skills. I was like, I did all the conditioning, and then before the first cook, like a lot of people are like, use this grease up conditioning oil or this, and then a lot of people just say like to saute a bunch of onions.
Were they poison?
No, they were just like probably severely undercooked because I intentionally had the
Oh, I
heat.
thought they were fine.
Okay, never mind then. They were good. I meant to do it.
So you made me this chicken cheesesteak thing, right?
Buffalo
and then I'm like
cheese.
looking around, and there's a bowl of sautéed onions, and I started putting them on, and then you were like, "Whoa, you're not supposed to eat those," and I was like, "Wait, why do you have decoration food in front of me?"
Yeah.
But no, it was good. You got a dope house. I really like how it's set up.
I dried the chicken out a little bit, but that was the first time I cooked in a while, and I was a little worried about.
It was fine, dude. It was fine. It was just an honor to come to your house.
It was. You came today. I got blinds put in. The house wasn't done yet. That's why you didn't catch the invite.
So
Drew was there for all the steps of it. No one else has been there. Gage was there, but that was because I needed help getting my couch
Stop
in.
saying no one else has been there now that people are popping in.
Strauss was there, but that's because Drew brought him.
All right. I'm done with this. Well, I've been there now. I'll come back next year.
Hell yeah.
Once a year, I'll make a...
Yeah, because I won't do a Masters party this year because we'll be there.
Yeah.
I'll be blacked out probably. And then, no. We ain't drinking there. Maybe. I don't know. Who knows? What else?
I'm not blacking out the Masters.
No.
I'm going to take notes. I'm going to have a little journal and be like taking notes on it.
I feel like last time we went, you were like, I'm going to get golf lessons. Or no, where was that?
No, every time we play, you and I play, because you golf every single day.
I tried to.
And you practice and everything like that. And then every single time I play with you, there's like a couple holes where I beat you. And I'm like, I'm so bad.
I remember when you birdied hole 7 on the North Course for the first time. And then I was like, save the ball. And you were like, no, I'm going to keep using it. Why would I save it?
And then I hit it in the water.
Yeah.
But
it happens.
every time that I beat you on a hole or something like that, I'm like, you know what? I should take, if I'm already this good,
you should just take it
I
to
should
the
just
next
take
level.
lessons. But then I realized that like I have too much stuff going on.
Yeah.
So not going
That's
to take lessons. I like just showing up, hitting one ball good, and then celebrating that for the rest of my life. Like that one time in Vegas.
Oh yeah, Vegas on my bachelor party, you birdied that one hole. Where did we play? Valley High.
We played the one where you can hire strippers.
Valley High Golf Club.
Yeah.
Shout out.
You guys know that? You can hire strippers when you golf?
No.
I didn't know that.
That sounds pretty rad.
We were just like bros.
Yeah, we didn't.
And we were in the cart, and I looked back, and I was like, those guys have strippers with them. And then like the person there was like, oh yeah, and they didn't call them strippers. I'm just calling them strippers, but they're like, oh,
they called them nice women probably.
You can hire like a female accompaniment or something to come with you, and I was like, oh.
Like golf is stressful enough. I don't know if I need these girls that are just here to get.
No, dude, they're hyping you
them
up, bro. They're like, oh my god, you're so strong. Your tattoos are so great. I guarantee it's the opposite of stress.
All right, maybe I need to try that then. Maybe that's the secret to making it on tour.
Yeah, you think Nadia would see that come up on your credit card and be like, oh, this is sick?
She don't see my credit card.
Really?
Mm.
No, I think Danny can see all my credit cards.
Oh, so we'll have to put it on my card.
Yeah, we'll put it on your card.
Gotta be some sort of
pay you
write-off.
back.
Okay.
Speaking of that, I got my buffalo hide yesterday.
Where is it? Really?
I mean, what do you mean? Where is it? Like, you think I should be wearing it right now?
I don't know. Or like in your office or something. What are you doing?
It's in my office. I laid it out and I looked at it on the floor and I was like, this doesn't work in my office.
Why? Because of the color?
It just, some things just don't work, and it doesn't work in my office.
What are you gonna do with it? Wear it.
I mean, I wore it the other day. I wore it yesterday for a moment, and it was incredible.
Really?
Yeah.
Like just hella primal.
Wait, can we just cut this part out? And I'm like on Joe Rogan, they go to the bathroom.
Why? You have to go to the bathroom? Or are you gonna?
No,
go
I'm
get
gonna
it?
go put the buffalo hide on.
Yeah, we could pause it. I gotta entertain people while you're gone. I think I'll play songs on my soundboard.
Okay, I'll be right back.
People love this stuff, right? What do I got? I got this one. I don't even have headphones. I don't even know what these are doing. Bear with me. His office is only right down the hallway.
It just sounds.
I could do the fancy voice stuff. Like this one makes me sound like a robot. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe we'll cut this out. I'm very curious to see this because I haven't seen it yet. And I feel like I don't know if I'm going to be able to control myself when I see it. Because if he's wearing it, like what is it? What do you do? Wear it over like your shoulders?
Or you get asked to try it on.
Jeremiah Johnson.
Should I try it on? I should try it on, right? But it's like his hide. That'd be like trying on someone else's like underwear, right?
No.
No? All right. Here we go.
Jeremiah Johnson. Wow.
That's what it is?
Yeah, this is me.
I did not expect that.
So, what? What's wrong?
That wasn't in yesterday's video. I watched yesterday's video and this wasn't in it.
No.
That's aggressive.
No, I re-edited yesterday's video and re-put it up.
Oh my god. Yeah, that I guess wouldn't work in your office.
No, it works, but then I put it on and I was like, I feel like this is me now.
I mean,
Like, I feel like next winter it's just what I wear.
Did they like wash it and stuff? Like how? I don't know the process.
It smells fine.
Yeah, I don't.
Very
smell
soft.
anything.
Do you want to come touch it? Yeah, come touch it. Come over.
Kind of. Hold on, let me.
Come touch it. Just
I'm too little. Oh,
yeah.
that's kind of
So
quite nice.
no big deal. You would have never got it because
No.
I know that we split this buffalo.
Was it expensive?
I mean, for you, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not taking that as a shot.
No, it's not
You
a shot.
you
Because I would spend money on that and
You
then
could
do
have
what with it.
100% afforded it, but you would have done the math in your head and be like, that's not worth it for me. So
So, like, are you struggling right now for something to do with it, or are you just gonna hang it up at home?
obviously not. I'm wearing it.
Yeah. You gonna wear it to Hawaii?
No, I'm gonna It's gonna be hot for Hawaii. I don't know. I think I might put it in my bed. I'm gonna put it in my bedroom.
Yeah.
But there's something about wearing it that I really, really like.
Yeah.
And a whole new personality next year.
Next year?
Yeah. Like, remember when Evan came in as a cowboy one day?
Yes.
Like, vividly.
Mhm.
Our old athlete manager was from Florida, and he dressed like a guy from Florida.
Yeah.
Like, oversized shorts and, like, that big oversized shirt. Like, typical bodybuilder.
Yeah.
And then one day he came in dressed as a cowboy. And I was like, what are you doing, man? Like, you're wearing a cowboy hat and cowboy boots. And he's like, what do you mean?
And then it stayed that.
And then I, like,
too.
let it go.
Yeah.
And then the next day he came in as a cowboy, and I was like, you're dressed as a cowboy again. And then on day 3, I was like, Evan's a cowboy.
Yeah. Respect.
Yeah, like, uh-huh.
So I don't know what you are then. You're just like some sort of primal, like, Viking
Yeah,
creature.
primal Viking creature.
I'm not mad at it.
Like,
it was quite distracting.
because realistically,
I'm trying
like,
to get over
you're
it.
thrown off right now by it. Right?
Uh-huh.
Like, it's a little much. But if I wore it again tomorrow, you'd be like, oh my God, he's wearing that thing again. Right?
Yeah.
And then on day 3, you'd be like, that's what Rob wears.
Yeah, you just, I guess, accept it at
Yeah,
some point.
it's the new you.
Damn. That's pretty cool. Are you going to wear it the whole episode?
Well, I took my shirt off, so I don't have a shirt on now.
Do you want a shirt?
No, this is what I wear. This is me.
What do you want to dive into?
Jordan likes it. I'm getting the
I love it.
approval from Jordan's head being like, he's like, that looks good.
I just can't imagine
No,
how hot that thing is.
This is like Jordan, because when Jordan goes camping, he has that chair that he puts down,
Mhm.
and then he lays the buckskin on it, and it's like the dopest thing ever.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't seen
It's
that
very
yet.
nice.
You haven't seen that?
Mm-mm.
Dude, it is. Because you know, like, when you go camping by a campfire, sometimes you, like, don't have a chair, and you're like, man, I wish I had a chair.
Yeah.
And then you get to the next level, which is you bring a chair, but it's like this fold-out chair, and it's kind of comfortable, but kind of, like, weird.
Mm-hmm.
So Jordan, he's on the next level after that, to where he sets up his chair, and then you see him, like, smirk, and you're like, why is he smirking? Then he goes back to his truck, and he pulls out a deer hide, and he puts a deer hide over it, and dude, Jordan is a different person when he sits in it. He looks like,
Damn, I didn't see this.
it goes from being like, hey, Jordan's here, to being like, we take our orders from Jordan. Jordan is our king. So, yeah, I think, new year, new you.
Hell yeah. Pretty sick.
All right, what else? What are we talking about this episode?
Well, I want to cover this weekend a little bit. Not to
Our event.
Yeah, not to hard sell CCV, but more so just talk about like the experience, people coming into the building.
Yeah.
I feel like we got to hear a lot of different stories of people who are like in their journeys, whether it's getting started on a business or
Yeah.
some idea they have, or just looking for like life direction, kind of ownership there. I kind of just wanted to talk about
Yeah,
that.
really, really cool weekend. So we had, for my coaching group, we had everyone sort of come out, and then people outside of it too. But kind of like a mastermind, life mastery, business weekend thing. And I think that my biggest takeaway from the weekend was, one, reminding like how rad our building is and like everything here. I think sometimes we take it for granted a little bit. And it's nice to bring like outsiders and they're like, whoa. I'm like, oh yeah. Like sometimes we just, forget.
Yeah.
And the other really cool thing is I like the internet. I think podcasts are cool, and like there's so many opportunities that pull inspiration on the internet and see all these different things. And thinking back to like when I started Flag or Fail, right? Really started printing t-shirts back in 2009, and there wasn't really like anyone to look at. Like I had to find like really dig to find inspiration or people that I could see that I thought like, oh wow, they're doing it. And
Or locally.
yeah, the one dude that really did it for me, I'd never met anyone who owned a brand, Like I had known bands that did merch tees and I'd known stuff like that, but I never knew like a brand. And I was working in a restaurant and there was a guy working with me. He was called Rasta Steve. He had like dreads. He was an interesting guy, cool guy. And he was working the fryer and he said, "Oh, I own a skate company." I was like, "What do you mean?" He was like, "I own a skate company." And this was in maybe like 2003.
Okay.
And I was like Alien Workshop? Like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
You. He's like, "Yeah, I make skate decks and all sorts of stuff like that." And I was like, "Why are you working here? Like, why are you working the fryer?" Just because I'd never seen anything like that. And I remember, like, inspired by that. And then one day we went out to his car and he opened up the trunk of his car and he had like a full-blown skate line in his car. Like, he had like t-shirts and hoodies and skate decks. And I remember being like, wait, so you can just make a brand? Like, but seeing it and holding the skate deck, it made it really real. And I think now the internet provides the same inspiration. You can buy ebooks and all this different stuff to like start your journey, and you can watch people on YouTube and learn. But I think there's something about like standing inside of a building. Like, I remember the first time I went to First Form. I remember the first time I saw equipment manufacturing places.
All the
like,
different
headquarters, right? Yeah, I remember the first time I was at like UFC headquarters. I remember all these first times I was at headquarters, and there's something different, right? And especially when you really know someone's story, like you know Flagner Fail, or you've watched me print t-shirts in the garage, and then you come to Montana and you like stand in the building, it does something vastly different. Because words really work, right? And I think saying things out loud works, but like actually doing something or being around it physically is a whole different level. So that's what this weekend was. It was bringing people in, showing them what's possible, and then also kind of giving them the recipe. Like answering specific questions to how they want to scale their life or their business, but then also, you know, saying like, this is how we did this. This is all the mistakes. If I could go back, this is how I would do it different again. And it was really, really cool. And everyone there was cool.
Yeah.
Like normally when I do events or I'm at events, there's a couple people that I'm like, I got to stay away from that person. Like they're annoying.
Or you see like the little clicks.
Or you see a click. And I was doing a really good job of bouncing around from click to click. And every single click was like, whoa, these are 5 rad people. Yeah. And I'd go to the next one, like, these are 5 also rad people. So it's about 40 people, and everyone was rad. It was a really, really rad weekend. I liked it a lot.
What were some, like, any common themes that we kind of seen between people that we kind of translate to Flagner Fail? Like, we're talking about making mistakes in business or first getting started.
Yeah, it was, I think the biggest thing I noticed about this weekend was, in my head, I thought it was going to be all business owners, right? Like that's just what I assumed. And I structured my speech and a lot of my presentation stuff and the speakers to be business owner related. And the more I talked to people, a lot of people were like, hey, I'm doing well in my job, or I just exited something or whatever. But I would say that like 75% didn't really seem to be business owners. They just wanted to get like an extra push or inspiration to figure out what's next in life.
Yeah. And
that was me, right? And I saw all these little things, and I'm almost too hyper aware. I was having that conversation yesterday that like almost to my demise, I'm aware. Like reading people's faces, reading rooms, seeing things, reflecting them back on myself. Like my head is an absolute disaster, and it's a superpower.
Yeah.
But I think that needs to be placed in front of people. And a lot of people are like waiting to be told what to do, or they're waiting for the inspiration, or they're waiting. And I think a lot of people took action to come out here. But going back to me, I really had to dig deep before I started the brand of like, where's my permission slip to do this? And I would like see a restaurant owner and be like, okay, he's doing this. And then I'd see somebody else doing something creative, like they're doing this. And I had to take all that awareness and plug it all together to then finally take the risk. And even that, I had to have that like that big business mistake where I fell on my face, and I still know I could do it, but I didn't make the decision to do it until I called my uncle. And my uncle was like, yeah, if I could go back, I would 100% just shoot my shot and say, fuck it. And that was the dude who was really successful. And I was like, all right, fine, I'll do it. He's like, you should do it. And I was like, all right, well, let's start. And then I did it. And I think people need that. So even during the speeches, like I hopped over and talked to Cody and was like, hey man, I don't know what you plan on talking about, but talk about taking action.
Yeah.
Like forget your normal speech. And he did a really good job. But I think that's the biggest thing is like just taking action. And I think too many people wait for someone to tell them something, or they wait to figure something out, or they're waiting on the universe or looking for their purpose or whatever. And I think just like really, really messy action is what's going to teach you everything. And that's the brand.
Yeah.
Right? Like every single idea, we used to be really, really fast to market with really unique ideas. And I think that us building our first big private gym in the warehouse, like we weren't taking notes off of anybody.
Are you talking in Leesport? Because a lot of listeners have been there.
Okay, so Leesport, yeah. Like even Leesport, like there was no private gyms in facilities that existed to mirror, right? And it was just like, but what if we tried this? And I think that spawned so many gyms.
Yeah.
Like I think about like bringing Steve Cook out, and like then he went out and started a gym. I think of Flex Lewis, like the Dragon's Lair, like he saw ours and you saw his face like get the permission slip. And I think that was one of the things early on we were really, really good at, was like just getting an idea, and we didn't need to see it exist anywhere, and just like, let's just bring it to market.
Yeah.
So I think that's the biggest takeaway from this weekend that I really tried to convey to people, which was like all of these decisions that I made that built all of this, I just shot my shot and took a risk.
Yeah.
And like, didn't have an example, didn't wait for anyone to tell me. It was just, let's just try it.
And that's kind of what it was. I know we touched about this in the past, but like with getting Dana out there, it was like, let's just go places and see what happens. Mm-hmm. And if nothing happens, cool, we'll go to the next
and
place.
Do the opposite of what everyone else is doing.
Yeah. Adventure Tour was very much like spawned by the same thing. I mean, Adventure Tour was us getting ready for Olympia, trying to figure out how to really tie in everything and make it make sense, knowing that going to supplement stores and gyms weren't us, and that kind of spawned the idea of like, let's do this adventure.
Yeah. And that went off of Airstream Tour.
Yeah.
Like I was looking at prep week for Dana, right? And I realized that, was she going to be the favorite on stage? Does she have all the right?
And are you talking Airstream Tour Tampa Pro, or are you going?
Airstream Tour.
Okay, so we're talking 2012.
2012,
right?
I think when she qualified for Olympia, and that was 100% my thought process. It was like, man, prep week is the hardest week, right? And when I film her through her hardest thing, people like that the most. It makes her the most vulnerable and real. And I was like, but that's just watching on the internet. So what if her last week, we forced her to prep out of an Airstream? So we did an Airstream tour starting in New York and then drove all the way down to Florida to make it as hard as possible. And then also have people see her in the most vulnerable state. And I was like, even if she doesn't show up on stage the best and win, content-wise, like experience-wise, like no one else is doing that. So we did that.
At the time, nobody
was doing
hid the week before a bodybuilding show because I want to surprise, work in silence. I'm going to surprise everyone when I get on stage, redemption, all these different things.
I remember getting messages from all our pro friends being like, dude, that is not the way you do this.
Yeah.
Like she's going to lose. Like you're letting everyone see what she looks like. The judges are going to base it on what they're seeing on
They're preconceived,
tour. And I was like, yeah, but like, I don't think she's going to win anyway. Like, so I just want to make the most content of like the raddest chick in the world. And like, that's what the goal is.
Yeah.
So a lot of those tours and a lot of those big adventures were just spawned from like, what can we do that's different where we actually connect with people?
I mean, Mount Washington was a great one.
Same thing. Yeah. It was like getting people out to hike. And I that's the other thing I really like, is forcing people to do things they're not comfortable with.
Yeah,
right?
I wasn't ready for that though.
They want to meet Dana, or they want to meet me, or they want to meet you. And we force them to do it on a mountain.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like people that have never hiked before that show up in Jordans or jeans and whatever. And then we're like, and we're hiking this mountain. They're like, can I just get photos at the bottom? And I remember being like, no photos at the bottom. We get photos at the top.
Yeah. I was not ready for that. I thought the whole thing was just going to be like some sort of walking trail.
You thought it was going to be a paved walking trail like in the city, in like Central Park or whatever.
Yeah, that fucked me up. I had way too much shit in my bag. Everything about it was just
Pants were falling down.
Yeah.
I remember that.
At the end, just like literally parts that you are climbing.
Yeah. And we did the same thing this weekend.
Yeah.
So on Sunday, we did VIP night, Friday night, we did typical stuff Saturday, open gym train, lunch, all that, after party in building 3. And then Sunday I was like, and today we train jiu-jitsu. You know what we started with? You weren't there.
Mm-mm.
We started with walking. Like I brought in Andy Stump's wife, Leah, to host the whole thing. And we started with walking. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh my God, like what did I sign these people up for, right? Because if we said like, okay, pick a partner, we're gonna walk and critique your walk,
yeah,
we would all look at each other and be, this is the dumbest thing ever, right? And then, so she like went over the strategy of walking, because I've never been, and I never will be, I can say that with confidence, no one ever gives me problems on the street, like. And not that no one ever gives me problems, but I 100% know how to carry myself. Yeah. And I can almost guarantee that, like, I walk down the street and my interactions, I can avoid confrontation at all costs, right? So I doubt I'm ever going to be a victim or compromised. Yeah. And I don't think Dana will either. Like, the way that even she carries herself. And I do very purposeful things when I walk. I look, I'm walking through the streets of Columbia at 3 a.m. when I shouldn't be. And, like, I'm pretty confident.
Yeah.
So we started with walking, and they walked across, and like watching your partner walk, and I was like, oh my God, like people don't know how to walk. Like they really don't, because you start walking as a child and you sort of watch your parents and you just walk as your parents. So you carry all their shitty traits with them. And like watching people walk, and it was like, whoa. Like we should be starting with walking, like your shoulder placement, your chest placement. Yeah. How, like, do you keep your core tight when you walk? Like, what are you looking at? How high is your chin? Like, the same reason I don't hit deer, and I pride myself on like, I do not hit deer. Say that. I'm going to say it, I've been driving for how many years, and like, I don't hit deer, but it's not because I'm just being cocky or I'm lucky. Yeah. It's because how I drive. Like I look down the road, and my peripheral's doing like a very specific thing. And I don't know when I was taught that, but the average person doesn't do that, because I can drive down the street with the average person, and like I'm in traffic and I'm seeing things that they're like, how did you see that? I'm like, you're not looking super far ahead and then like seeing everything on the sides. You're like, no, I'm seeing where I'm looking. Yeah. So there are like simple traits that maybe you just don't have. So I'm always excited to learn, am I missing traits, right? Same thing with landing an airplane. Like if you look at where you're landing, it's not going to go well. But if you look down and everything else you read in your peripheral, when you're snowboarding through the trees, right? You're looking like 3 trees, 4 trees ahead, and then your brain's going to remember where those trees are, and you don't look at them. You just feel that they're there, and you can sort of dodge through them. It's the same thing with everything else in life. So we go over walking, and like all of a sudden I was like, whoa. So I'm like showing my partner like what it's like to put your shoulders back and how it kicks your chest out, and then you still got to keep your core tight, and like what your gaze should do. And it turned into this thing that was like sort of dumb into this really cool thing. Yeah. And then we went into simple self-defense of being attacked, how to handle that, how to cover your face. And it was really cool, like closing the gap, how to get behind somebody, how to exit from there. And then we went into top mount, and it got wild.
Just people
because
dominate each
a
other.
lot of times you've never been mounted from the top. Yeah. Right. And the first time you are, and they're like, and now get out. It's like you panic a little bit.
Yeah. Fight or flight. You're like, oh God.
And then of course, like I'm sitting there watching the dude in front of me, Nathan, who's strong, right? Professional arm wrestler, but never done this before. So he's going, and he can like, he doesn't even need to hip thrust to get out of it. Like he can just roll over to his back and then stand up. So the kid on him, and I was like, hey man, like I stepped in as instructor, I was like, next time he does that, choke him the fuck out. He's like, what do you mean? I was like, he's turning over on his belly. Yeah. Like the second he does that, like I know I'm not going to teach you how to put hooks in, but choke him. So like Nathan turns over, flips over, and all of a sudden he starts getting choked, and you see him panic. And then Leah walked over. She's like, what are you doing? She's like, Rob told me to choke him. Jeez. And I was like, all right. I'll stop telling people what to do. But it was a really good, like, all of the responses were like, oh, I would have never done that. Yeah. Like I've always thought about doing jiu-jitsu, but I would never do jiu-jitsu. And that was the cool thing about this weekend, right? Is I sort of got to take all my strong suits or everything that I've ever done and like lead by example and show them like it's possible. So dude, it was a rad weekend, man. Yeah. A rad weekend. And I got to revisit a lot of the past. Like, even showing the original press. That's what I started the tour with.
Yeah.
And I was not ready.
I was up here like listening, and I was like, oh.
I was not ready for the
Yeah.
emotion that was going to hit me, right? Because I wanted to go over like, this is why we did this lobby, and we want to feel proud, and you know, we want a great environment, and this is everything we've built to, which I was like feeling it a little bit. And then I looked at the press and I was like, the first thing that came to my mind was like, I don't know if I would still be here if this press wasn't here. Like a $400 simple press that I bought to print t-shirts on that's like defined my life. Just a wild risk that I took. And I looked at it and I was like, and I just asking, like surrounded by 40 people that are dead silent staring at me. And I was like, I don't know if I would be here if I didn't find some kind of like super anchoring purpose on a higher level. And it's that machine sitting right there. I just fucking fell apart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was up here listening, and I was like, whoa, something's happening.
Yeah. Yeah. So the tour was supposed to be like, I think we had it slated for like 40 minutes.
Mm.
And like, I stood there in silence for like 10 minutes and I couldn't get words out, and everyone loved it.
Yeah.
You know, it was really real and vulnerable, but the tour definitely threw the schedule off a little bit.
Yeah.
But it was really cool, man. People appreciated all of it. I got a lot of really great feedback.
Yeah. And that shit gets you fired up when you
Yeah.
hear about other people kind of going through their journey or about to, and it doesn't always need to be quit my 9-to-5 to chase
Yeah.
this crazy goal that I have. It can be like kind of marrying all the things together, or just being here to better their relationship
Yeah.
or better themselves.
Yeah.
Like self-discovery, I think, was a big part of it.
Yeah, it really was.
Dan did a good job talking, like the whole running in nature and that whole thing. There was parts, your questions he was asking, I was like, I never really thought about it.
He asked some really good questions.
Yeah.
Really, really good questions. Yeah.
It was a good time.
Yeah.
Now what? You go to Hawaii dressed like that?
Not dressed like this. I'll wear something else.
What are you doing in Hawaii?
Hanging out. Just hanging out.
You and
I mean,
Dana?
Yeah, gonna work. There's a lot of work I need to do there, but I think it's gonna be cool to work from a different environment. So,
Yeah.
doing a couple days there, and then I don't travel for a long time. Well, until the Masters.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about not traveling.
And then we have some stuff planned coming up here. We'll have like our first big public event, which is the race car show open house. I think that's what we ended up calling it.
Car show open house. We don't want to call it race day because we don't want people showing up thinking they're going to drive on a racetrack.
Yeah. We got that coming up.
So that's going to be sick.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be sick.
Oh, we broke. Are we calling it break ground on the coffee shop last week?
Technically, we didn't break ground.
That's what I didn't know.
Yeah. So the coffee shop, we have perk tests.
Mm-hmm.
We've DEQ started. We have property boundaries. Like stuff's happening.
What signifies breaking ground then?
When you actually break the ground.
For like, I mean, like I saw the ground break that day. Would it be like putting foundation that like?
Yeah, but that was like the ground breaking.
Like premature.
Well, it doesn't even count, right? Like it's just testing the groundwater.
Yeah.
So they could test the groundwater and be like, you can't build here.
Right.
Because we if you want to
Did
say
that.
by digging in the ground, we did that at the other property, and they
Yeah.
were like, there's no bedrock, so the ground is not safe.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, interesting.
That was some big adversity that we faced a couple of
That set us back a lot.
2018 probably.
Yeah. Yeah. We were full steam on building the warehouse, and the property we had, we sort of got screwed by a Canadian.
Yeah. Essentially, when we moved to Montana, we moved over to 110.
Yep.
We were on Highway 40, and then is that Highway 40 or 35? Whatever it is. We were over there, and then bought how many acres was that?
10.
10. Which, looking back on it, how do you see all that shaked out? You see that was like a blessing. You see it, obviously it was at the time. It was a big deal.
It's the same thing, right? And I think that so in this coaching group, right, I try to give a lot of step-by-steps because I think that like personal development and inspiration is great, but I think that like a playbook is oftentimes works. That's why whenever we cover the customer journey, it's like, oh, we get it, but you revisit it and you're like, oh, wait, number 4, we're not really doing as well as we can do. And one of the things I always put in there is pivot, right? Pivot. And I think that I remember the big meeting we had. Do you remember it was in the lunchroom at the warehouse, and we were in Leesport. We were downstairs in the kitchen.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And the whole staff was there, and we were having a staff meeting about like, hey, this is showing up late, so we're gonna get these t-shirts out. We're gonna do this. And it was a really impactful meeting for me. It's really when I realized I was different than everybody else. And we were like, hey, whatever was showing up, like bags weren't going to show up for the next, like they were 2 weeks delayed. So we were going to quick get t-shirts in there. And there's a kid that worked there. He didn't work there for long, but he was like, so we're just putting out t-shirts now instead of bags? And I'm like, yeah, like we have to pivot. And he was like, oh, well, we're not set up for that. I was like, well, we have 4 days. Like it's just a t-shirt. And I remember being like, well, when does this stop? I was like, when does what stop? And he's like, it just seems like, you know, we're always like having to figure something else out. And I was like, bro, that's business. Like that's business and that's life.
Yeah.
But like that, no, that's business. Like stuff's not always going to show up in time and shit's not always going to work out. And I think a lot of people are so used to coming to their job every single day where they're told what to do, they accomplish their workload, and then they go home.
And nothing changes.
And nothing really changes, right? And I think that's great for a lot of people. But what people forget is like, no, shit just changes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the more you come to terms with that, the more that, yeah, when you buy a property like that, you spend 6 months designing for it and doing everything, and you find out that like we cannot build here.
Yeah, literally, we were that far down the road.
Yeah.
It was bought the land,
we had everything done.
Even like the layout of the building was done. Jamie came out. We had content from out there. Like
and it took a long time to figure out. Like the only options were it was doubling the cost of the building to be able to build there,
mm-hmm.
and it was just like, well, that sucks. Okay, let's figure something else out. And I think that's what separates people in life, right? Is the people that something like that would happen to, and they're like, this is why I don't do stuff like this. You know, you asked me how I was like right before I got here. I got some really, really shitty news.
Yeah.
That's going to probably put me in a situation that I've never been in before. That's going to be like, oof, this is not good. And I think that's when you're trying to do bigger things in life, that's what happens. And you get hit with big things. And it's like, it's that ultimate kick in the dick. And that's what separates people. The people that can be like, all right, well, I'm going to figure this out. Like, it's just another thing happening. And I think people figure that on small levels, right? Like,
of course, yeah.
Like you go home to your fridge at night and you're like, oh, I thought I had chicken in my fridge and I don't. And then you need to figure out something else,
mm-hmm.
right? And what I think people need to realize is like you open that scale up to like, hey, we spent millions of dollars on property that we now can't use for anything.
Yeah.
And probably not sell it, right? Because I need to sell property that you can't build a building that can have people in it.
Yeah, because then you have to relay that.
But then instantly my brain went to like, okay, well, what's a building that doesn't have people in it so that it can be a floating slab? Obviously there's storage. Obviously there's a driving range. There's all these different options.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw those different options. Cool, I'm going to figure that out later. Let's go figure out how to make the building work. And I think that's what, like, the more you do this, the more you realize that this moment's not the end. You know, there's just something else that's going to pop up. So it was rough because I was so excited to get in a real building, but then, you know, just kept working at it, found this place, found this land, and then started building. And that's just how it works. And the same thing with what just hit me earlier. It's like, oh, that's going to be really bad, but I'll figure it out.
Yeah. So
it's a trait that I appreciate that I have.
It's faith in yourself, right?
It's confidence in yourself, 100% confidence. And that's how confidence is. Reps. And it's not always everything going good. Sometimes it can all just go bad and be like, oh no, I can make it through this.
Yeah. Like
I'm used to shit going bad. But it's that perspective and that confidence that like you're going to get on the other side of it.
Oh yeah.
So.
All right.
But I mean, that's what we did with Dana on Airstream Tour.
Yeah.
It's like I saw her, I know what she was made of, and I was like, no one else could do this except for her. And then she was like, I don't think I can do this. And then we had a lot of conversations with that too, right? About relationships and a lot of times when like someone else has to show up with confidence.
Like someone who isn't you?
Yeah, someone. So like when Dana lacks confidence, I hop in.
Yeah.
And then the same thing with Tony Relentless, right? Like Tony Relentless that owns Fusion Gyms.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the first time I met him and he told me what he was going to do with gyms. And I was like, this dude is out of his mind. Like, there is no way he's going to do this.
Yeah. And
then he explained it to me. And like, he gave me confidence in him after him ripping for 20 minutes. And I was like, oh, this dude can do anything. Like, I'll invest in him right now because I believe in him so much. So I think that's the power of like confidence is like, it makes unrealistic people, you end up believing in them.
Yeah.
So the more you have, the more everything else is going to work out for you.
Shout out to Tony.
Shout out to Tony.
I was there when they opened the gym he just opened in South Philly last year. I used to train at back in 2005.
Mhm.
I was there like when he opened it, and same thing, going in, talking to him, and then him telling me about the other things he had planned and what he was going to do for Penn's Landing and all these different things. I was like, if only because I know you
Yeah.
and I've been around you a little bit, I believe, yeah, you're going to take over Penn's Landing. Fuck.
Yeah.
It's going to be Tony's Landing or whatever it's going to be.
100%. And then he does it. And then you build up even more confidence in him. And he's had things that don't work.
Of course.
Like for example, I remember when he was launching the outdoor gym, he was doing 80,000 square feet of outdoor gym and a beer garden and basketball courts. And he put a court out there. I remember looking at it and be like, man, PA has long winters.
Yeah.
Like there's so much you want to be a naysayer. And I remember he was just doing it. And I think one of the greatest things I saw him do is like correct with confidence. So like you act with confidence, right? And you're willing to make mistakes. And he made that mistake. And an 80,000 square foot gym is like bigger than a normal person's gym, right?
Yeah.
So like he bets on himself, but then when he realized it didn't work, he corrected just as fast.
Yeah.
Like he was like, well, it doesn't work. Cool. Let's put pickleball courts out there. And he just started tearing it all up to put pickleball courts in. I think so many people are frozen by one, making that initial decision that what if this doesn't work? He's like, well, if it doesn't work, we're just going to pivot. And then when it doesn't work, he corrects with just as much confidence. Like, oh, people love pickleball. We'll just do that. And meanwhile, everyone else is still standing around being like, well, what if it doesn't work? And Tony's on his fucking 5th gym.
Already,
right?
Past that.
And I think that's the big thing, right? Is bringing people in here this weekend, showing people that like, I don't really know what I'm doing. I tried this, it didn't work, but then I tried this and it worked. And then, they're like, whoa, that's a lot of decisions. Yeah. The faster you make decisions, the more you build confidence in yourself and the more you essentially have the life you want.
Yeah. More trial and error, and the more reps you get in, the more you're going to get comfortable with the errors being success.
Yeah.
Or victories or whatever.
Yeah. What else do we have going on here? We're on the final iteration of the Oscar pants.
We're on the final.
I'm actually wearing sample 2 right now. I pulled them off the wall to put them on.
And we approved the updated Forever joggers and shorts are all approved. They'll be out a little bit before the Oscar pants.
Did you see the tags that came with them?
Oh.
So I wrote like this really, really, it took me a long time to write it, but this really heartfelt message to Max.
Mm-hmm.
So we're renaming the Forever joggers and Forever pants because we're expanding that line. So we're naming it the Goat joggers, right? To name them after Max. Because I was like, man, these are like the first things we came out with. And I think back to like Max, our first goat. And I was like, man, okay. And then Max, he was the first animal we had killed here by a mountain lion.
Yeah. And
he was obviously killed. Like we've had enough goats be killed now by predators that we realize that it's always the largest goat. Mm-hmm. Whoever's the leader goat, like the next goat that dies is going to be, if this has happened again, is going to be Ruby because she's the biggest. She's right now the most alpha. Mm-hmm. And it's like, it's so rad. And Max being the first goat that died, it's like any of the other goats. We have such small, weak goats that like that mountain lion could have taken any goats. And it took Max. It's like, well, it took Max because Max fucking hopped up first.
Yeah.
So I wrote like a really, really heartfelt message to Max on this hang tag. Like that took me a long time to write. And then it comes back and it is so small. Like I'm looking at it, I was like, I can barely read this really dramatic message. And you can still read it. So we might run it. Like I don't want to, if they're already printed, I don't want to throw them out.
Yeah. But
it's definitely like oh man. But once again, it's one of those things in apparel where I think people don't realize that like you have hang tags, you have poly bags, you have the inserts, you have the clips, you have the product itself, you have the branding on the product, mm-hmm. you have the buttons, you have every single stitch, you have gussets, you have, clasps, like all these different things that can fail. And so far it's the hang tag, which is the least of my fucking worries.
Yeah. Good win there.
But
yeah, we got that. We shooting with Tanner tomorrow for the Out of Office series. That video will be going up next week. And then next week we have big spring sale.
Oh yeah. So you're just telling the people.
If they listen for this long, I feel like
they spring sale.
It
doesn't feel like it's spring here because I'm wearing a buffalo hide. But
it's gonna be 60 next week.
Yeah, I know. I'll be back just in time for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it feels like spring, right? Like it feels like spring. So I guess it is time for spring sale to come.
Yeah.
just in time for a new moto restock, and a bunch of our classics are coming back in
April.
with,
April's going to be a good month.
with branding changes, with some fit changes, color changes, stuff like that.
The big thing with the goat joggers and shorts, for example, when the one sample had come back, I forget where you were. I think you were away, or you were definitely away. But me and Drew were looking at them, and I was like, God, I know we're just updated branding and colorways. Like, do you feel like we need more? And then like talking through it, it's like, no, they're already the best. So like us in the past would be like, well, we need to at least change the seams or update this or change.
V2.
We would try to change it and go further away from what was good.
Yeah, and I think that's what I'm most proud about with our brand now, right? Is like the Moto Tee for what it is. I know we dropped out the distress, but like there's no reason to change that. Like that's a shirt that we could sell for the next 10 years and it's so good.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that if you like our joggers, you know, and they work for some people, they don't work for other people.
Yeah.
Right. They work really, really well on me because I'm very proportionate all the way down. Right. So I got thick legs, thick ass. So they fit really, really well. And then some people, they don't, and that's fine. But the goat, then if those don't fit, the Oscar pants are going to fit. But we're trying to make stuff that like we don't need to revise next year because the style's not going to change. It's weird that we're making stuff and it's like, well, there's no improvement on this.
Yeah.
Like this is the best. And we could make improvement for the sake of like what other brands do, which is like they add pockets for no reason, or they do all this thing. And then next thing you know, it's like, these pants are way overcomplicated.
Mm-hmm.
Like you look like you're trying to do something weird, you know, and it completely changes the style. But that's something really cool. Even the bags I'm redesigning, right? They can still be redesigned. Like the freight bag right now, I really like. I've been thinking about Jordan a lot, designing the freight bag. But like Jordan's going to love it. But like the stuff that Jordan loves about the freight bag, I don't want. Yeah. You know, so trying to figure out how to make that bag work for everyone and get more towards a product that like, no, this is a product that we're not going to change anymore. And once again, that's just experimenting, everything like that. But we have a lot of items that are like, I don't think we can make it better than this. The flannels, I don't think we can make better flannels than this. The shorts, the joggers. I mean, even redesigning our hoodies this year. Mm-hmm. Like looking at the hoodies and being like, dude, our hoodie, like every time I put it on, I'm like, man, this is really solid. Like, I don't know what else without experimenting really hard in fashion, we can do. And I think there's a place to experiment hard in fashion, but we're at least getting our anchor products that are just like, no, these are great. If anything, just more colorways. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some new colorways dropping of the shorts and forever joggers that I'm excited about, especially because right now I have the timber and olive, and it looks like I wear the same pants every day, which I do.
Yeah.
That's 2 colors I got, and we don't have any other colors in stock.
Nothing wrong with that.
So, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Are we done? We could be done.
I don't know. You're the one.
48 minutes is pretty good.
You're the one that's in charge.
I'm not sure what. I have a meeting.
Well, we don't want to drag it on. We don't want to bore the people.
No. And we already had like all the excitement with you showing up in that thing. Maybe next week I'll wear that.
I feel completely normal wearing this.
I mean, at this point,
no, well, I'll rent it to you. I got it's $1,200, dog.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
Cost me. I mean, and that was to tan it.
What do you mean?
I'll tell you right. You can't just cut a pelt off a buffalo and wear it. You have to like treat it and tan it.
What's tan it mean?
Jordan, I'm assuming they put it in a big dryer. It's a long process.
Oh, damn.
I thought it was a shorter process, but like, you look how clean like this all is. So they have to clean all this up. You can do a lot of that like as you clean the animal, but then to get it so it's not just rotting flesh.
It's not like it's not tan like they didn't make it a different brown. That's what I thought you meant.
Oh, no.
I was like, tan it. What the fuck does that mean?
It's essentially they need to treat the inside, right? So they need to make it more like this is like a soft leather now.
Yeah.
Right? And when you cut it off, it's not a soft leather.
Right.
So this will not, it won't keep decomposing.
Yeah.
So do I understand the tanning process? No, but I'm sure they treat it and then they dry it. They told me it was going to take 5 months.
Damn.
But it only took 2 months. They got it done pretty quick. That is a wild place.
What was it like
it's just, you're not ready for it because it's like very just like,
What is it, like a taxidermy? Is it a taxidermy?
No, dude, it's a bunch of dudes that are just like trimming up and stretching hides and like. I think I went in the wrong door. I think there's an office door to go into.
You're like, I saw too much.
But I just went in a door. I just went in a different door.
Uh-huh.
You know?
So you got to see it behind
I
the
went
scenes.
in the like, oh, this is the workshop. Because I was like, hey, I'm here to pick up my hide nut. Walk all the way up there, go through 2 doors and to your left. And I walked up there, I was like, oh, this is an office.
Yeah.
Like I walked into the center of it. And I think I was expecting an office, but I walked into like the center of the workshop.
Yeah, like a Saw movie scene or something. Or not.
It's just, it's a lot to process.
Yeah.
It's because they have hundreds and hundreds of hides and like, there's just a lot going on. And when you expect an office, you know?
I don't know if I want to see it.
You
Maybe.
don't have to see it.
Maybe
It's not
someday.
bad. It actually made me really appreciate it because it's like, it's just down to the craft of it all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I walked into dudes doing it, which is not what I expected to see.
Yeah. You expect like a lady in a computer.
That's, I don't know if I'm expecting a computer, but I was expecting like an office to walk into.
Yeah.
Right?
That checks out.
I mean, even if you walked into the dentist, but you walked into
An
actual
like,
dental
cleaning.
room where they're like cleaning someone's teeth. It was like that. Right?
Yeah.
Like, wait, I must have came in the wrong door. And the guy looks at you and he's like, why are you here? I'm getting my teeth whitened.
Yeah, I'm getting a
like,
root canal.
Is there a front office?
I went.
That's what I mean by my experience.
To follow up on my Invisalign journey. I went last week because they got like all the pictures back and like how many trays it's gonna take, and they showed me like before and afters and like the week by week change that would like happen to my mouth. And
Did they Photoshop your face?
Yeah, they
Oh,
click
wow.
like the before because they took a bunch of photos and they were like, smile, all right, I'll do this. You're doing like all the different things, and I was like, yeah, this is all obviously part of the process. But then last week when I went back, when they actually had everything, it's like, here's your before and after. It was actually like a picture of me smiling, like my face changed because it's like
did
the
they
whole.
give you the photos so you can hang it up on
No,
your phone? You should have told them to print it out.
I asked her to click back because I wanted to get a video of my phone, but when she clicked back, it only had the after photo. It wasn't switching like the before and after. So I got.
So
that to
what's the
figure out.
timeline for you being like a handsome model?
So they say 14 trays is what it would take. I'm
Yeah.
gonna do the second opinion thing and go to the orthodontist and see what they say.
Interesting.
Because the dentist office came back pretty expensive, and I hear if you go to the orthodontist, it like you'd be surprised how much cheaper it is.
We'll finish with this because we were gonna like stop and we kept going. When I see people with real teeth that are good, I always make a huge deal about it. Like that's my thing.
Damn, so in 14 weeks you could be like,
Yeah.
make a big
Like if
deal
I see
about it.
someone that has pretty good to better teeth, and they're still real because everyone has fake veneers now.
Yeah.
Like and it's just like, yeah, of course your teeth look great. They're fucking. It's a chomper set you bought online. I give people compliments.
They told me I gotta wear them for 22 hours a day, and I was like, well, that's pretty much my whole day. So
So even sleeping.
yeah,
So you can take them out to eat and then.
take them out to eat, brush, and then.
And so
sleep.
what's the timeline?
So I think I might-
when do you get done?
14 weeks.
So
But-
it only takes 14 weeks to get.
That's what they're predicting.
Oh wow.
But I'm gonna go to the orthodontist and see if it's cheaper there or how it works.
Maybe I should get my bottoms lined up because my.
If you get your bottoms lined up, you also have to get your tops lined up. That's what I found out. I thought I was just going to be able to do my
Well, I don't
bottom
wanna
row
do that. I don't
because
want to change my smile.
it changes the way like all your teeth, I guess they form
It's gonna be
together.
like an eating machine, bro.
It's going to be crazy.
Huh.
So I don't know. That's like one of the big things I got to figure out my taxes. So those are like the 2 big projects I got hanging over me, like personal projects that have been stressing me out.
Yeah.
Tax season, you know.
Yeah, my problem that just arose.
I assumed
is
that in my head.
Yeah.
Pretty sick.
So-
All right. Good night, Dan.
That was a variety pack show, wasn't it? Holy
Yeah.
shit.